Labor unions and companies in the platinum mining sector are about to embark on critical wage negotiations over a multi-year pay deal. This alongside a 2-month strike at Sibanye-Stillwater and record dividends for shareholders following a recent commodity price boom. Some 160,000 odd workers face an uncertain labor relations situation as unions there argue for a share option. Now, joining us to unpack a little bit more on how workers see things are Cosatu Deputy General Secretary Phetoe, as well as the National Union of Mine Workers General Secretary William Mabapa, Amcu's General Secretary Jeff Mphahlele. And you, of course, are part of the conversation tonight. You're joining us on Twitter as well as on WhatsApp, 072-110-5584. Gentlemen, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and joining us tonight here on In Focus. Jeff, let me begin with you joining us on the line today. It is alleged that the almost 2-month-long strike in the gold sector is being used to leverage, I suppose, upcoming wage negotiations in the platinum sector. How true is that? Are labor organizations taking that kind of posture?
Thank you, Mr. Njoli, and thank you to your listeners as well. I think it's just a harsh work of saying that it's not true at all, because from where I'm standing, we submitted our wage demands for the platinum belt in timely so, because we should by this time have begun the process of negotiation. And what has transpired, yes, we are almost done with Impala, we are almost done with the Anglo-American, and Sibanye decided to postpone and say that they are waiting for us to complete the discussion around the gold, and they will start their negotiations in the platinum belt after we have done that. And that is not true, that we are leveraging on the platinum belt to support this one. It's not true.
And do you see, though, a possibility, let us say that, where workers would possibly extend what is happening within the gold sector into the platinum operations?
I think it's just a question of negotiations and how do we steer this process. But we are faced with a difficult task, because the employer, which is Sibanye-Stillwater, is very much arrogant, and they do not want to budge. We have tried, I think tomorrow it will be a third meeting trying to resolve this impasse. But they are just adamant. They are sticking to their 800 rand, which it does not serve the purpose. They know the demand. And another problem which tightens the situation like this and make it so hostile is the fact that Sibanye has been unashamed to declare its bonuses and its huge salary pays and so on, against the backdrop of what the employees are asking for, than 1,000 rand. So now that is what is a difficult point.
Dr. Phetoe, is there a possibility of labor leveraging the 2-month strike as a way of negotiating in the upcoming platinum sector negotiations?
Come on, Ben, what's your question?
I'm saying, is there a possibility of labor using the 2-month strike, the 2-month-long strike in the gold sector, to leverage the negotiations that will now take place within the platinum sector?
Well, as the comrade has indicated, the attitude of the platinum, in particular the Sibanye employers or management, arrogant as they are, it is going to be difficult for the negotiation in the platinum sector. But as I said, the attitude that is prevailing in the platinum sector or in the mining sector of those employers, it sends a message that employers in the mining sector continue to undermine the rights of the workers and undermine the Constitution, including the Labor Relations Act, that allows workers to negotiate engage in the collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah. Do you view the labor issues as a notable risk factor that could possibly impact on the viability of this particular company? I mean, by and large, if you look at it, of course, with the commodity boom, Sibanye may be one of the best mining companies that we have, but do you see these labor issues becoming a notable risk factor in as far as their viability is concerned?
Well, they are not risk factors. They are issues that workers are raising in the mining sector or labor is raising. They are very important and they are very genuine issues that workers are raising. So, as I said, it will require that engagement at that level of the negotiation. You get a strong leadership of the union, and the unity of the workers will be able to push all issues or to fight against the attitude of those employers. So, as I said, the labor issues that workers are raising are very important and are very genuine issues that workers are raising in the mining sector. And therefore, if workers are united, like we see the NUM and Amcu working together in Sibanye, we may be able to achieve and break the battles that we're facing with those attitudes of the employers.
Yeah. How strongly are your members pressing for a share of the record profits that the platinum sector has seen?
How sure?
How strongly are they pushing for that?
Well, they are strong. They are strong because if they were not strong, I'm sure the strike with the workers would have been divided. As I said, workers are still united and workers are still strong in terms of their demand. And currently, as we speak, the National Union of Mine Workers and Amcu, they are engaging with the employers in making sure that the demand of workers are achieved. They are strong. If workers were not as strong, I'm sure workers would have been divided, or employers would have taken that decision of they normally do of locking out the workers or dividing the workers. But because workers are united, they are not able to break away and use that dividing and rules for the workers. Yes, we know taking a strike for almost about 2 months is not easy, but those workers, they are strong because they are now running towards the 2 months or towards 2 months, 2 weeks now. Yeah. And as Cosatu, we do support the demand of workers, and we continue to make sure that our solidarity support is being seen by all the workers in South Africa.
No, but I'm talking particularly in the platinum sector, where it is said that workers are pressing for a share of the profits. I'm saying, is that a deal breaker? Are they saying if the company is not going to be giving them a compelling enough offer as far as the share of the profits is concerned, that is something that they are not willing to accept?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the negotiation team is in process, and it will determine if what will the workers be offered, whether the workers, what they are going to be offered, what is the settlement bottom line of what workers are putting as a demand. Obviously, as I said, workers are still strong in terms of their demand. So it will be determined by the attitude of the employers or what the employers is offering. Obviously, the negotiating team will not take a decision or settlement without selling that offer to the workers, and workers will decide in terms of whether to accept the offer.
Okay, we have seem to have lost Solly there. We'll try to get him back on. Let's bring in William Mabapa now, General Secretary with the National Union of Mine Workers. William, good evening, and thank you very much for your time as well. While Sibanye may have seen some profits, particularly around this time, those who are talking are saying that the price of platinum is actually near an all-time low. In fact, it's staying in the same price as it was in 2016 when you compare it to both the precious metals and the base metals. So they're arguing that the high wage demand and the resultant increase will bring up the production costs, and this will threaten the sustainability of some of the operations. What is your take?
Yeah, let me confirm that the current strike is not at the platinum. The current strike is at the gold. In the platinum, unfortunately, I just want to apologize that I'm struggling because there is a load shedding. I did everything possible to find a light, but it's not easy because there is a load shedding. But what I can confirm is that the wage negotiations in the platinum up to so far are better compared to the gold. We have not started the negotiations at Sibanye, but we have started the negotiations at Anglo. And I can tell you that the offer that is already on the table at Anglo Platinum is more than, depending on the years, because it's not one amount per year, but the first year is 1,150, and then 1,200, 1,300, 1,400, and 1,500. And that is the trend because even in Sianda and Royal Bafokeng and Northern, in the platinums, we have already signed 5-year deals with the companies that we have engaged. But we have not yet engaged Sibanye, that we know that, yes, it may be having some difficulties to give us a reasonable offer. But with those that we are engaging, we really got the good offers on the table that are reasonable. That is safe to say that wage negotiations in platinum are better compared to the wage negotiations at the gold. But we must single out that the problem is Sibanye. Even in the gold, we signed agreement in all companies in the gold. The only company that we did not sign is Sibanye. And the problem is only Sibanye. And we take it that even in the platinum, the problem child may be Sibanye. Other mining houses, like I'm saying, Anglo Platinum has already offered us an increase that is above the 1,000 range. And we are hopeful that very soon we may reach a settlement with Anglo. And that means we'll then be left with Sibanye, even in the platinum.
Solly Phetoe and William Mabapa and Jeff Mphahlele staying on with us tonight as we continue to look at those fundamental risks facing the mining industry and particularly the platinum sector, with the wage negotiations up. They're going for a third meeting, as we hear there, and there are some issues that are still causing a great impasse there. We'll unpack those in a moment. Stay with us. Conversation continues. This, of course, as the mining indaba is also continuing with the discussions on some of the issues that are facing this sector. We've got Cosatu, Amcu, as well as the NUM with us in conversation tonight. Jeff, let's go back to you. I mean, hearing the articulation of the president at the indaba in terms of the challenges that the industry is facing as far as, for example, the rail network, and as far as the power situation is concerned. Do you see this as big factors that could possibly impact on your negotiations as you go in for that third meeting?
No, I don't think so. Take, for instance, the company in question here, Sibanye-Stillwater. Sibanye-Stillwater, in the midst of all these difficulties, they netted 28 billion as in profit for 2020-2021. And we recognize the fact that there's problem with power, and as we are speaking right now, I think my comrade Mabapa and myself, we are in Dark City. There's no electricity. It's load shedding. But we don't want to entertain that, because even if there's boom in the industry, workers are still neglected. And we begin to hear about all these problems, that there is this, there is that, when it is time for negotiation. When it is still early in the year, there's nothing. They just net the profit and keep quiet. So now it is time that they must also think for the workers who go to the bellies of the earth and unearth these minerals. So they are being neglected. They don't earn anything. The salaries that they are giving are just meagre. And in terms of our research, these companies could easily pay all the workers 17,000 because of the kind of money they are making. And also we need to look into the issue, which is it's very serious, the illicit financial flows that are happening in the country. And mining is quite rife in that instance. Most of these scandals are coming from mining.
So, what do you say to the company's response that says unions, in their demands, they must be balanced in the sense that don't look at the commodity price boom now, but look at the commodity price cycle in its entirety, so that as you ask for increases, you avoid a situation where the increases could place jobs in the future at risk?
Mr. Mphahlele, I fully understand where you're coming from. The problem that I have, perhaps you can assist us. The problem that I have, if one man would net for himself 300 million and 8 of his executive walk away with 852 million, and what you call that? The add-on demand in the gold sector, it's only 360 million. If you count this 1,000 rand times 30,000 workers, it's only 360 per year. And one man is able to take that 300 million. So we cannot really entertain all these discussions that workers are a cost to company. They are not a cost to company because they are creating this wealth. So this is time for the companies to reconsider their position. The problem is also the structural arrangement of salaries. We are still using the old system of salary pay, and the scales are too low. They have never been developed. So these companies must just push, because there are two other components which are key. If a man works and is married, he must be able to provide for his family. Now, these mine workers, most of them, with these meager salaries, they are not going to be able to buy their own house, because when they go to the bank, they say, no, you don't qualify. When they go to the RTP, they say, no, you're working. So they are tossed in between and betwixt because of the salary structure that is there. This is an apartheid salary structure. It must be removed, and we must start on a pay scale that will enable people to live their lives at ease. A young boy, a white young boy who comes into the industry, in no time is able to do 1, 2, 3 against his what we call counterfeit in the black sector. So we cannot accept that. I mean, that time has gone long ago. I think this is time that the unions must work together. We have called it, and we are so glad that the NUM took an opportunity to say, let us walk this way together. And if we continue in this fashion, I'm telling you, we are going to be able to break the backbone of these companies in terms of this stubbornness and the salaries that are very low.
Yeah. William's already given us an update on the negotiations with Anglo, for example, and the others. You mentioned that there is this impasse as you're going into this third meeting tomorrow. What is the impasse on?
Hello?
Yeah, what is the impasse about? You're saying as you're going to this meeting, you are having an impasse on particular issues with Sibanye. What is the impasse on?
No. They remember that the demand is 1,000 rand and the 100 rand for the LOA, which is the living out allowance, plus 6% for the officials, RPOs, etc., etc. So that is the demand. And then Sibanye is coming in a format of a rubber band. You know, the rubber band does not change its, what you call it, we can change its shape many a times, but it still remains in that parameter. Now, Sibanye is trying to do all these things to say, here is the pot of 800 rand, see how you divide it and how you project it. And then we're saying, no, the demand is 1,000 rand. So the difference between us and Sibanye is only 250 rand.
And the question around a secondary application of a strike to extend what's going on in the gold sector, is that something that is currently being talked about? Are you looking at that? Is that a possibility?
We are mobilizing our members in the Platinum Belt. They are just listening, waiting for us to press the button. When we met with Sibanye, we also had an opportunity of meeting with our comrades from the Platinum Belt. They were here, and then we have spoken to them, and they are happy to support this, because once we are done with this, it's going to affect them there. Then it's better to fight this battle and see and teach Sibanye one or two examples of how to deal with human beings. Because Mr. Newzroom, unfortunately, is on a very high horse. And to alight from there, it's so difficult for him. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because he's got the means. And he has said again, one other typical problem that we're facing. He said, I think last month, when he released his statement and said, no, it's not a question that Sibanye does not have money. We're protecting sustainability. Now, this sustainability only affects the black employees, those who are in Category 4 and 8 and the officials.
Yeah.
But with him and his colleagues, they earn graciously so. Okay. So they don't want to share that. Yeah. Then we cannot believe anything that comes from Sibanye except to come to the table and say, here's the 1,000 rand. And let me also make a comparison in terms of numbers. Sibanye Platinum, Sibanye Gold has got plus or minus 30,000 workers. And when you look at the likes of Harmony, of which Harmony has long settled the wage issue with this 1,000 rand and so on. So they've got more workforce than Sibanye. And Sibanye is very strong. They are in a position to offer this, the better salaries as compared to their competitors. Right. Because they were in a buying spree. Just before we started the wage negotiation last year, they were in a buying spree of new mines and so on. Okay. They're just buying. Where do they get that money? Part of that money, if not all, is as a result of what the gold workers are doing for them.
Let's bring in Dadasoli here. Are you at liberty to tell us what your members are demanding as far as wage is concerned in the platinum sector?
Well, Cosatu, unfortunately, Cosatu is not negotiating on behalf of those workers. The unions that are recognized in the mines, our unions that is affiliated to Cosatu is National Union of Mine Workers. As you heard, the GS of Amcu and Comrade Mabapa here, those are the comrades who would be able to respond to that. Cosatu is a federation, as you have said it, that when is our members going to give a solidarity or secondary strike, solidarity support to those workers who are currently on a strike for those about 2 months is an issue that Cosatu is busy talking about that, including asking our affiliates also to continue to give solidarity support. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to respond about the question, but the two comrades who are here who are fully unions that are recognized in the mine industry can respond to that question in relation to wages.
Respond to this question then. The request by the President to resolve the labor dispute in the mining sector, saying that the tensions between workers and mining companies and strikes should be resolved. What is your view of that request and how are you receiving?
No, obviously, the President is correct. You will recall what happened in our National May Day on the 1st of May in Rustenburg, where workers, in particular in Sibanye, were raising the flag, the placard that they have, they're asking for intervention. And I think that what is happening now, that is true, that those impasse need to be resolved so that we go to normal. And I think as what the comrade from Amcu was saying, these issues that you are raising about impact to the workers, they only impact to workers. It's not impacting to the bosses. For example, currently as we speak, we have lost lives in the Harmony Gold. we hope that in that mining Indaba, they are discussing about the issues of safety of workers. We are losing workers every month in the mining industry in relation to the non-compliance on occupational health and safety issue, the Mining Health and Safety Act. Therefore, yes, the issue of the problem or the dispute in the mining industry, it requires to be resolved, but it can only be resolved if the employers they leave their attitude at home and go to work in terms of resolving these issues. These workers are selling their labor; they are not selling their lives. Therefore, it should be that problem should be resolved. The dispute should be resolved.
Yeah, William. It's also noted that the 2-month long strike is also costing the workers as far as their wages are concerned, which they are likely not going to recoup even if they would work for the next 12 months. Do you believe that that is a necessary, I suppose, sacrifice that workers would need to put right now in order for them to get the ultimate goal in terms of the wages that you're negotiating for?
Yeah, let me raise this issue that when you deal with the wages, you don't have to be one-sided. The reality of the matter is that even when the workers, when they take an offer that is low, that is going to have an impact to them for a long time. Let me give an example. We have made a comparison of the platinum and the gold. In 10 years back, both the platinum and the gold were earning the same salary. Today, as you go to the platinum, because the platinum for 10 years now, they were getting 1,000 increase. Only the increase made the basic salary to increase by 10,000 rand. Today, as we speak, in the gold, that was 10,000. That makes a minimum close to 14 and 15,000. Because by then, both the platinum and the gold were getting 4,000 to 5,000 10 years back. Today, the platinum is getting 14,000 to 15,000 as a minimum. But the gold are still earning 9,000. Now, when the workers are getting a lower salary, a low increase, that also have an impact that their future will never be better. And the question is, when will be the right time for the workers to struggle? You'll understand that the workers in the platinum had these struggles of strikes for the likes like 2012 and all this. It's not like they are where they are because they were pushed, they were put where they are because the employers wanted to be there. So we need to understand that we have to wage a certain struggle for us to get a better salary. And that better salary is going to determine the future of the workers. Even the new workers that will come, they will find that the salaries are better. And there will be no any other time where we have to wage a better struggle. But I want to say it very open that the employers in the gold, they are spoiled. They used to be spoiled and they are spoiled. And when times change, that nobody will ever tolerate to spoil them. They can't quickly think that it is time for them to change, particularly Sibanye in the gold. They think that they must not change. But the reality of the matter is that Sibanye must change. In essence, there is no much problems with other employers. We need not to paint them with a black paint. We must just emphasize that the elephant in the room, it is Sibanye. Yes. And it's not the matter that Sibanye doesn't have money. Sibanye do have money. If they can afford to pay one person 300 million, so you tell us that they don't have money. So it's a matter that those people's lives doesn't matter. Those people are black people. It is painful to be a worker that is poor every month when it is month end because your salary can't pay all the issues that you want. Yeah. No matter you want or you don't want, right. It can't do that. But we need to understand that this is the same issue that like the struggle. People went to jail. There were not any salary. The struggle is painful. We need to appreciate that there is no struggle that is soft. every struggle is painful.
All right, William.
But the truth of the matter is that if we get better salaries, salaries will change. And we take it that we can't just take any offer on the table because the workers are going to lose. Well, even though they get a small salary and they don't go on strike, the reality of the matter is that they are going to struggle for the rest of their life.
The point you've made, I appreciate it. Thank you very much, William. William Mabapa there on behalf of NUM, as well as Amcu's Jeff Mphahlele, as well as Phetoe with Cosatu. I appreciate your time, gentlemen, and thank you for coming on.